Bam! Welcome to another episode of Mike Sports. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co-host, Landry. Landry, how the hell are you tonight?
I am ready actually for a college football rematch.
Right? Georgia, Bama 2, fight. It's gonna be great. I can't wait for that on Monday. It's gonna follow a great week 18. Yes, week 18 of
Yeah.
NFL action.
Yeah, look, everybody loves Street Fighter Part 1. But let's face
Absolutely.
it, Street Fighter Part 2 was the game that you talk about.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
Sure.
Bama, Georgia 2.
Well, while we're on the subject, are we going to have a different winner in Bama, Georgia, the rematch, or is it more the same? Is it more Alabama and roll damn tide?
So my feeling on this one is Cincinnati did better against Bama than I expected.
Mhm.
A lot of people might be like, "Dude, you crazy? Like Bama put up, what was it, 26-3 or 28-6, something like that?"
You know, physically, they didn't look intimidated by Bama.
Yeah, I felt like, man, Cincinnati's hanging with Bama.
Mm-hmm.
In the next game, I think I'm going to go with Georgia, man. And here's why. Remember, I told you I'd always be afraid of the hungry team the second time.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? They got nothing to lose at this point. Put
Mm-hmm.
it all on the field. Bama's trying to, hold tight, hold down the fort.
Sure.
Another reason why I look at this is Bama in the game last year when Bama beat Georgia, they beat them by a good margin.
Mm-hmm.
In this last game, they didn't beat them by as big a margin. And in this game, I think Georgia may be able to finally get over the hump on them. They have game tape. They have immediate game tape, not last year game tape. They have immediate game tape to go to and go, what didn't we do enough of? Again, my one fear with Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and this will be the telltale, is if that offensive line starts getting crushed by the defensive line and some picks get thrown, that'll be it. If I see 2 interceptions by Georgia, it's over. I don't care what's going on in the game, how it's been going. 2 picks by Bama, and then that's going to be game. If I don't see the picks, I'm going to say Georgia. Now, a lot of people might be saying, oh, well, it's easy. Well, of course, if they get picks. Now, particular against Bama, if you get picked off, they almost always guarantee points. And that'll be enough to give the edge over to the other side. But I'm going to be rooting. I'm torn here. I want Saban to officially be on top and him to be done. So going forward, I can not care whether he wins anymore or not. But then again, I want a team like Georgia who has a lot of heart and plays good, solid football for a long time, who's only really been beat out by either Clemson or Bama by the end of the day.
Yeah.
I want to see them finally get their win. So ultimately, I'm going to go for Georgia in this game. But what do I think's going to win? I still think Bama takes it.
Okay. Look, I do think I'll agree with part of what you said there. I think some of the keys here, Alabama or Georgia cannot go down early. Like they have to be the aggressor. They have to come out and take an early lead. I think it's really important.
Yeah, it's their game to lose, really, in a lot of ways.
I think it's really important for Georgia to dictate the tempo. They need to score first. Like I would almost say,
totally agree.
like this is a spot where Georgia, if they win the toss, they shouldn't defer to the second half. They should take the football and come right down and try to score. And I mean, I know like Georgia's big strength all year has been their defense, and that defense is incredible. They are a badass group, but it really comes down to Georgia. I think it's a mental thing for them. Like it's like a block for them. Look, being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I saw for years the Eagles go through it with the Dallas Cowboys when they were in their big heyday in the 90s. The Eagles had a mental block when it came to the Dallas Cowboys. And you look at the games that the Eagles won against the Cowboys in that time period. Afterwards, typically they'd go on a long losing streak. And then even if they'd lose, it's like, man, that next game, even if they won, it was really ugly. It was like, a game you look at and say, man, the Eagles should have handled that team, but they didn't because they were so mentally caught up in the rivalry with the Cowboys. I see a lot of similarities between that and Georgia and Alabama. And so that's why I look at that and I think it's really important for Georgia to get up early on them. But also, yeah, like you said, a turnover early by Georgia, and that could spell doom. Alabama, I think, can weather whatever gets thrown at them. So, like, if Georgia comes out, strong, I think it's going to be a really good game. Alabama, if they come out stronger, if they come out the aggressor, man, it's going to be a long night for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with about 80% of what you're saying. I mean, if Bama comes out in the first half and just turns it on like up tempo out of the gate, then I think Bama's gonna. I mean, I think Bama's certainly going to take it anyways. But if Georgia does come out in the first half, smack them around, not throw any picks, and that offensive line can hold off that defensive line, that's where, to me, it's not really the quarterback play. It's not the running back wide receivers. I think the trenches dictate Georgia's success here. If Georgia and the trench on offense can hold off the trench coming from Alabama on defense, then I think Georgia has a good chance at winning this game. But if Bama does their typical – I'm going to crush your offensive line, so you're going to feel pressured and throw picks, I think that's game. And I think if I see that early, I think it's game. Even if Georgia shows some comeback potential, I just don't see it happening. I
will say, I think if Alabama's up at halftime, it's over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Georgia basically has to punch them in the mouth in the first half and make Alabama go back to the locker room and reconsider what they're doing. And that's probably the only thing that's going to give a lot of people confidence, including yourself and me, that we think Georgia's actually going to play the game. If Georgia loses this game, this will be the fourth time in 3 years Georgia has lost to Bama?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at that point, Clemson didn't even have that. Clemson went back and forth with Bama. Lost one, won one, lost one. So
at that point, I'd say, is this really a rivalry? It's one-sided. It
won't be. No, that's what I'm saying. This game will capsize the boat at this point and just basically be like, all right, who's next? We've taken care of Georgia time again. Who's a true contender coming our way?
I think if Georgia doesn't win here, I think this is it'll be a long time before you see Georgia back in this position. I just think mentally,
think about it.
That
in 4 years they've lost. Oh, I'm sorry. In 3 years they've lost 4 times. That would mean most of the people on this team are going to be graduating pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I mean, even if I look at the timetable, but anyways. So if I'm going to pick a score,
ultimately, I'm going to pick Georgia. I think Georgia's going to win. This is one of those, I almost compare it to, and this is going to go, if we want to go back into the way back machine, to Team USA against the Soviet Union. And I'm going to compare Alabama to the damn Soviets. And with this,
I see Bama more like the Patriots than I do the Soviets.
Well, my reasoning being,
I'm not going to bring Russia into American football. Come on, man, you Putin-loving mofo.
But my reason being, not only the comparisons of how strong Alabama has been over the last decade and how strong the Soviets were. I mean, I know neither of us were born, but how strong they were over the decade before the 80 Olympics. And also the similarity, about a week before the Olympics, Team USA got smoked by the Soviets in an exhibition.
In the first round.
Yeah. And much like Georgia getting smoked by Alabama. Now, is history going to then repeat itself? And then all of a sudden, Georgia's in the position to play for a national championship, and they get their revenge on the big bad Alabama, just like Team USA got their revenge on the big bad Soviets. I don't know. We'll see on Monday, but it's going to be fun to watch. I think Georgia wins. But buckle up. It's the line I think is really interesting. It was 6.5 when Georgia and Alabama played in the SEC championship. Georgia was favored. After Alabama smacks them around, now Georgia still favored only by 3 this time. And to me, that still says, and a lot of the the sharks, a lot of the professional bettors seem to be betting on Georgia.
See, and here's the deal. Here's the problem I have with that. Is Alabama hasn't really been fed a lot of ammo and had a reason to really step up and go, oh, you're doubting us? And for once it's happening, and I think that may actually be the drive for them to beat Georgia again.
Yeah, you might be right.
It may be just the fuel that needs to be put in that bowl for them to eat. And Nick Saban's going to be in that locker room going, they think you're going to lose. They think you've tapped out. They think that you've run your course, that it's Georgia's time. Go on that field and tell the world otherwise. I think it's going to be that kind of speech. Damn, I just pumped myself up.
I know. Do we really got to wait for Monday?
Throw my desk over.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll do it too.
Yeah, all right. But that'll be the end of the show.
Let's
talk Cowboys Eagles.
All right, let's talk Cowboys Eagles. In what amounts to, I don't want to say meaningless because it can affect things as far as seeding goes. Hey, if the right things go, It could be Eagles Cowboys again in the wild card round of the playoff.
In the wild card, yep, sure could. I always said it should have been us that year. It was the Saints versus the Eagles, and y'all lost to the Saints. It should have been the Cowboys and the Eagles in that game. How we not slipped up on 2 of our games, but we're not going to have Micah Parsons. He's going to be out. He's got COVID. And like I was telling Eric earlier, I think we should have a COVID league and a non-COVID league. You have to have COVID to be in one league, and you can't have COVID, obviously, to be in the other. But in seriousness, in this game, I'm not really sure. I don't think the Cowboys do well unless there's pressure. So this, I think, is a game the Eagles can win.
And
our best defensive player won't be on the field.
Sure. A lot of the Eagles' offensive weapons won't be on the field either. Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott. Trying to think of who else on the offensive side, but I know. Yeah, I think there's 12 in all that are out.
I would say if it's more than 4 starters, then you have a lot of players out. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's 3,
there are 12.
Well. Now, if it's your best player, like your main quarterback, your best player in defense, and maybe your second best player in offense, then I would consider that a huge leap. I mean, Micah Parsons is the Dallas defense now. He is the face of the Dallas defense. It used to be Van Der Esch, and the defensive end, but now it's obviously Parsons. And this is his first year. The dude's a freaking wrecking ball. I want to see him develop because I'm sure he's only going to get better as long as there's no major injuries or obviously COVID. But, I just think, I don't know. I don't think the Cowboys are good out of the gate. I never have. And it comes down from Jerry Jones to me. The way they coach, the way they do their style. They're just not a come out of the gate and hit you in their mouth team. They're a play ball back and forth through a little tennis. And then all of a sudden that flash. All of a sudden Cooper burns you. And then Lamb burns you. And then Micah Parsons sacks you. And then that momentum starts and then we start kicking your butt. But without pressure, without us like having our back against the wall, we just don't play that good of football, in my opinion. And that's why people are like, why are we so up and down? I'm like, we're up and down because we have to feel heat to play football, unfortunately. We're not a team that brings the heat right away. And I think that is a major flaw of the Dallas Cowboys, and I have for a long time. It happened with Romo, it happened with Garrett, and it happened with Mike McCarthy, and that can only tell me one thing, that's got to come from the very top, the way the spirit of the team is carried and that kind of thing. They have too much pride going into a game and not enough be prepared mentally. Now, I say that, people go, look, they're NFL players. Of course they're prepared. Of course they're prepared physically, and they have a schematic. What I mean is they go into a game thinking they already got a pretty good chance of winning it before they even earned it sometimes. That's the problem with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, you know what? I think you might be onto something with that. And I've told you, I think there's a lot of logic, and I agree with a lot of your sentiment. The thing that I run into here is just the motivation for this game. The Eagles, get a nice win in Washington, and say what you want about whether or not it was a struggle. Man, this is NFL. Anybody can struggle with anybody. The Patriots, the Tom Brady, Freudian Slim. The Bucks struggled with
the Freudian Slim now, huh? He's gone that far. Even people back in history before him can't compete.
And I certainly want to talk about the Bucks Jets game in a little bit, but
when we do our top 10,
I'm
sure we're going to cross that one.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll touch on that team. I certainly think that this game, while we say it lacks some importance, like the Cowboys can't get any higher than 2, they can't get lower than 4. The Eagles can't get better than 6, they can't get worse than 7. I don't think there's a lot of motivation to keep, starters aren't going to be playing a whole lot. I kind of think the Cowboys are going to win this game.
Really? Okay.
More of a gut thing, because I don't know how long Jalen Hurts is going to play, because again, it's not a must win. Like I said, no matter what, the Eagles and the Cowboys in the playoffs, I think we're going to see a lot of backups in the game. And I'm curious as to your take on whether or not that's a good thing. I personally,
absolutely not. I hate the benching of players. I think it's the same thing when they do the whole load management and all that crap in NBA. It's just one, we pay for our tickets to see the best performance on the field, not the safest performance on the field. And I get it. The goal is to get a Super Bowl. Well, that's for the team. As a fan, I think it's crappy to watch.
Well, and I'll tell you what, as a fan, I like that's not about it. My whole thing is I just don't think it's a good football move to because I believe a lot in
Yeah,
momentum.
remember we had this talk like I think
Mhm.
4 shows ago. The Cowboys in particular, I was talking about when I was talking about the Cowboys don't do well with rust. They almost always
Right.
lose their game after a bye. If you've ever paid attention to the Cowboys, other
Mhm.
than the '90s Cowboys, any other Cowboy team coming back from a bye has a very rough start. Why? Because the Cowboys are bad out of the gate. Add some rust on that, and that's a rusty bad out of the gate.
Right.
Telling
I
you, man, I paid attention to this pattern for like 15 years.
I'm not okay with the out and out benching with the not playing them at all. What I am okay with is like say the Eagles putting Jalen Hurts out there for a half. And then in the second half, just being like, all right, we got you out there, so you're still loose. You went through everything you have to go through in a game to get yourself prepared. You get out there, you saw action, you made your reads, you kept the momentum of your preparation going into a game. You kept all that together. And so now, second half, there's no need to run you back out there.
Yeah.
But what and the only other scenario where I would be okay with sitting a player is if he's injured and a week of rest would get them back up to speed, would get them back up physically. Like Jalen Hurts has got an injured ankle. If a week off of it would make it to where he is at a higher percentage, going into the playoffs, then I'm okay with it. But if he's 100% healthy, and you're going into that last game. No, I want him out there because I don't want the rust. And the whole what if he gets injured? Guys get injured. Like that's the NFL, man. That's life in the big city. You get out there, you
Yeah,
play your game.
everybody wants the whole leave it all on the field every game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for practice. I'm not looking for what your B team can do.
Right.
Save that for your practice field.
Yeah,
Save
and
that for the people
save
who are
that for the
sick or on injured
preseason.
reserve.
Yeah.
The fans don't pay to watch backups.
Well, to me, I don't necessarily like. I don't care if you feel like that's the best thing for the team. And like I said, if it was a case where a guy's injured and the best thing for him is to get rest and in a week he'll be up to snuff, then I'd say yeah, sit him down and let him get healthy this week. But if that week off isn't going to make a big difference as far as his health going into the playoffs, then not get him out there. Get him if it's hurting you now, you're gonna have to get used to it, bub, because you're gonna be playing in the playoffs. So get used to playing with that pain. I'd rather the guy get used to it in a spot where his performance doesn't matter, as opposed to having to get used to it when he's out there and the season's on the line.
Yeah, look, it's an odd position because
Mm-hmm.
typically my logic's going to go. The point of winning the Super Bowl, the point of the game is to win the Super Bowl. So whatever it takes to get to that point is more
Yeah,
important than any other point. So it kind of goes against my own logic to have that argument, but I still feel the way I do about it.
sure. And see, but my whole thing is, I think it does work towards that ability to go win a Super Bowl. Because man, you're not playing a video game. Like these guys are real people. Like momentum's a real thing. And staying in your routine. We always talk about it. Like you and I talk about it so much because how much baseball we played growing up. How baseball players are so weird and they're such creatures of habit. Well, so is any athlete. They're creatures of habit. And taking them out of a game, not playing them in a game, whether that game is to get into the Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl, or just because the schedule says so, it's part of their routine.
Yeah,
You
look,
literally
and my
break the
team is
routine.
the worst when they don't keep
Yeah.
momentum. Like I
So
would say
I
my
think
team
you
falls to
guys
the
should definitely
bottom
rest your
5
guys.
in the
I think that's what
league
you guys should do.
coming off no constant playing. So,
Yeah, my
you're
answer
never
to
going to
the
hear a bigger
Cowboys is you
cheerleader
guys should
about that point
definitely
than
rest
me.
their players. I
What'd you
definitely
say?
think you should. I think the Cowboys should rest their players. That way they
Yeah. Okay.
win.
All right, let's do a hierarchy.
All right, yeah. Let's get into that. And then we'll go through playoff scenarios.
Yeah. So I'll
Right.
say mine, or you say yours, and the other will say theirs. Or unless you want me to run down mine.
You can run down yours. That's fine.
Okay, I'll start at number 10. I got the Chargers at number 10. Herbert is a beast. I can't deny it. I don't like the Chargers as an organization, but man, that kid, I'd hate to see him on any other team that's worth a flip. Number 9, I got the Patriots. I think the Pats have really kind of come into their own. Number 8, I got the Cardinals. Mike Parsons said playing the Cardinals was a statement game for the Cowboys, and the Cardinals made a statement. They're here to play. They look like a good freaking fundamental football team, and they didn't really make a lot of mistakes. That says a lot. Number 7, I got the Bills. Number 6, I got the Bengals. I think the Bengals are a damn good football team. Yeah. And I think I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl this year, but I think if you give them one more year under their belt, I think they're going to be in the playoffs.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Number 5, I got the LA Chargers. I need Matt Stafford to slow up on his interceptions. Yeah. I'm sorry, the Rams. I need them to slow up on the interceptions a little bit, and I think their success will greatly improve, obviously. Number 4, I got the Saints. Number 3, I got the Buccaneers. Number 2, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. And number 1, I got the Green Bay Packers. And you could not have told me at the beginning of the year the Green Bay Packers would be my number 1. I never would have been able to guess that. I don't even have the Cowboys in the top 10.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm not going to have the Eagles in my top 10. So
I hope not. They suck.
Well, a spoiler alert, I won't have the Cowboys either. Now,
come out of the show. Throwing my headset off, turning in my keys, my badge to my home. All right.
Yeah, I'll throw the badge into my home too.
I throw my keys through the screen, you get them, and all of a sudden you lock my home. I can't get in anymore. What?
Yes. I got myself a house.
All right, what's your top 10? What do you got?
Number 1 is the Chiefs. I mean the Packers, excuse me.
Okay. Oh, you're going reverse. Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't do this all ahead of time. We don't have production meetings. We probably should. And we talk about stuff like this, so I'm just kind of winging it.
I usually do about a day before. I kind of gather in my head where I think is everybody at, because I don't like to get on here and start gloating on teams that I'm like, oh man, did you see how good this week? But they're not even going to be in the playoffs. I need to make sure I keep it straight in my head.
Sure. Yeah. So number 1 is the Packers. Number 2 is the Chiefs. Like, to me, there's no argument. Those are the 2 best teams right now.
Yeah, and right now, me and Eric have talked obviously off camera here, and we both think we could be looking at a Green Bay, Kansas City Super Bowl.
And I think it would be phenomenal. Like, 2 of the greatest quarterbacks going at
I'm going to call it the State Farm Bowl.
Yeah, it's the State
Farm Bowl.
State Farm. If that's the Super Bowl, they have to put together a commercial.
State Farm Bowl
with Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes against each other.
Exactly.
Okay, so those are my top 2. Number 3, I'll go the Rams. I've been telling you all year how much I love Matt Stafford and how much I love the Rams. So I'm going to continue to back the Rams. Number 4, dude, I'll tell you what, man, I am a believer in the Cincinnati Bengals.
I am too.
Joe Burrow.
It's Joe Burrow.
He's just so clutch. He's just so cool. He's got such charisma. He's got the confidence and the swagger, but it's like he's got the talent to back it up. And
he's just not work. He's not a guy that really cares about the pressure. He just doesn't. He kind of has a Tom Brady style to him.
I feel like if you put together the swagger and confidence of like a Baker Mayfield and the work ethic of a Peyton Manning, you get Joe Burrow.
Speaking of which, do you think Baker Mayfield gets renewed on his contract?
Yeah, I think Cleveland ultimately does cave and gives him a new contract.
Okay. I do too, but
I think they're going to hold out a while on it, but I think
they may make some phone calls to get turned down to make sure they have to go with Baker.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a good chance that happens, and like that'll be some drama this offseason where like is Cleveland calling like Seattle about Russell Wilson? Are they calling Green Bay about
who do you think they could call who would actually consider going to Ohio to play on the Cleveland Browns?
Well, I mean, to me, it's about trading for a guy who's under contract right now. I don't think you're going to go after a free
Deshaun Watson.
Well, Deshaun
I think that would be their biggest grab. Can you imagine Deshaun Watson
on
the Browns? He's massaging every player on that field. It'd be crazy, man. But yeah, I could see the Browns going, we got all the capital in the world. We let go of OBJ's contract. We let go of this. If we let go of Baker, we're not going to pay him a giant contract. We'll give it all to Deshaun Watson. That dude comes in there. He's back up north on a new team, breaks out of the psychological barriers from Houston, and goes Clemson on that ass.
It's funny. So I told you my top 14. I'm going to number 5 before I get to the team that likely is going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC, the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
So
without Derrick Henry, they've
right,
been
and
knocking the pins down.
And Derrick Henry, they opened up the practice window for Derrick Henry, so he will be eligible to come off of IR. He could theoretically come off this week. They're not going to, but yeah, it certainly looks like, especially if they get that 1 seed, that Derrick Henry could be back in the divisional rounds.
People better be praying he's not.
And if he comes back, he's healthy and he's fresh.
Plug Derrick Henry back in there with low mileage, new tires.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play him.
All right, and now number 6. Trying to think of who I haven't done. Number 6, I'll say the Chargers, man. I told you I love the Chargers, and I'm putting them slightly ahead of my Buffalo Bills at 7. But to me, those are 6 and 7. If you talk to me in an hour, I might change my mind and put the Bills at 6 and Chargers at 7. But to me, those two, they're kind of interchangeable. Like, I look at both of them and think, I feel like I see the same team, and they didn't play each other, so I haven't seen them on the same field at the same time. I'm not entirely convinced they're not the same team. So,
okay. My God.
Number 8, I will go with New England Patriots. Man, Bill Belichick just never ceases to amaze me. That guy's incredible. You can
see. This has been a great year for the Patriots. I'm not going to doubt that. If it's consistent and they repeat very close to this record starting next year again, and they reach the playoffs next year, I'm going to say, okay, Belichick's on to something. This may be one of those. He's had a hell of a great run this year, and then next year doesn't look anything the same. So I need one more year to be impressed with Belichick to know, okay, Brady part 2. Right now I'm thinking you just got something good going on this season.
Yeah. Number 9, I've got the Arizona Cardinals. And
so we just switched spots there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for all the reasons you mentioned, Arizona. Yeah. And number 10, I have a team you didn't have on your list. At least I didn't hear. The San Francisco 49ers.
Cowboys, man. I freaking knew. Good job.
San Francisco 49ers. I like the team. Yeah.
Dark horse.
Yeah, they were your dark horse, and you made me a believer in them. Now, I'll say the 49ers are my 10. And it's funny. I actually think, and we're going to talk about some of these playoff scenarios, I think there's a good chance the 49ers lose on Sunday to the Rams, but still back into the playoffs, because I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to beat the New Orleans Saints. Because that's the scenario right now. If the Saints need to win and a 49ers loss, the 49ers need to either win or get a Saints loss and get into the playoffs.
Okay.
So that's my one bit of the scenario. Like, I know we're not really going to go down and do each individual game because, look, I am not spending a single second talking about the Washington football team and the New York Giants. I'm just not doing it.
I like how they made a big announcement on 2/2/22. We'll be announcing our new team's name, and I'm like, the Redskins? You're just going to re-announce your name again? Because that's what I'm always going to call you, buddy.
That would be awesome if they came out and just said, yeah, by the way, everybody, we're really glad we could appease you for 2 years, but screw you, we're the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, that would be the bomb. Or if they just, the white skins, like just went, like all they did was change the color.
Washington dark skins.
Exactly. Oh, I gotta cut the feet. Yeah, it'd be tight. Or just call your name and just call your team crayons. Like, we could pick a color.
Just say the Washington Natives.
Yeah. No. Hey. Or you could. Oh, I think they had a proposed name that the fans were a fan of, but they already said they're not. It's not going to be that. So, I think it was the Warriors or like the Indian Warriors or something like that.
Okay. I heard about a list of the potential names, and I was going to try to commit it to memory, and then I just went on living my life.
I hate when that fucking happens.
I know.
Well, that's the show.
But okay, so let's get into the playoff scenarios. I know the Cowboys could finish as high as the 2 seed if they were to win and get losses by Tampa Bay and excuse me, and I guess the Rams would have to lose, or would the Rams and Cardinals both have to lose for them to get up to the 2?
Let me see. I actually did a little I drew all my stuff out.
Oh boy, is it like that weird back room area where you've got all the pins and the different pictures? And
I can't remember if this is my old or my new one I made. Hold on. I think this is my new one. So wild card. Yeah, okay. I think this is my new. Okay, I got 2 of them. I just can't remember which one I made when, and I made them week after week. So
okay.
So if any of this sounds off, then this would be my old one. But right now, I have the winner of the Bills Patriots playing Tennessee.
Well, so the Bills and Patriots, this must be the old one because
this got to be the week before.
So the Bills are playing the Jets, and the Patriots are playing at the Dolphins. The Patriots need to win and get a Bills loss in order for the Patriots to win the division. Otherwise, if the Bills win or the Patriots lose, then the Bills win the division.
No, I'm talking if there was a wild card.
Yeah,
you're still wanting to count the last games. Okay, I'm already predicting the playoffs myself. That's why I think these are my playoff predictions.
To me, now it's more about predicting getting to the playoffs because we got to get there before we can predict the rounds.
Well, I mean, you can always predict the rounds, but I see you just want to be more accurate when we get there.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be the playoff prediction. We want to sound like we know what we're talking about.
Tell me your playoff predictions.
Okay. So I do think the Bills are going to end up winning the East. The Patriots, obviously, a wild card team. I think that, obviously in the AFC North, Cincinnati's already won it. I do think Baltimore beats Pittsburgh on Sunday. And then I think, Cleveland, Cincinnati doesn't really matter. So that would mean Baltimore gets up to second place in that division, and then it's a matter of whether or not they can get into the playoffs. The Indianapolis,
the Steelers have to win and the Colts have to lose.
Right. Or the same thing for the Ravens, too. If the Ravens win, they need a Colts loss. So no matter who wins in that Ravens-Steelers game, one thing they can agree on is F the Colts.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a Colts fan anyway, so I don't really care.
I don't really care either anymore. Now that I know the Eagles have the Colts pick. In fact, I'd prefer the Colts to lose. So there's a better draft pick. But I do think the Colts are going to beat the Jags and end all the drama. Because I know the Steelers need to win. They need a Colts loss. They need the Flyers to win on Saturday night. And they need the Major League Baseball to settle the lockout. And then they get into the playoffs. That's the scenario.
Yeah.
I am 99% sure that
I'm comparing what you're saying to me.
That's right. But yeah, the winner of Pittsburgh-Baltimore gets in if the Colts lose. And how weird is it to say Baltimore has to root against the Colts? I know it's been like 40-something years, but it still feels weird. So yeah,
so far I'm pretty with you.
Yeah, I think the Ravens.
I mean, I'm not hearing anything crazy so far. You haven't said like the Eagles are going to win Super Bowl or anything, so.
Oh, that's coming. Don't worry.
Right.
I'll save that for in a couple weeks. Look.
Next week's the real telltale. Next week we know. Yeah. So our next show, we're really going to be able to dive into the playoffs.
Right. Well, we'll know all the matchups then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll be able to predict who we think will win, what kind of Super Bowl we're actually looking like. I mean, Green Bay comes out and scores 3 points, but they get 60 put up on them. I'm going to have to reconsider my pick. Is that probably going to happen? Probably not.
Well, they're playing the Lions in Detroit, and I don't know how.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the Lions shellacked Green Bay?
It doesn't matter.
Green Bay never mentally. No. I'm saying Green Bay gets hurt so bad by that loss, they never recover, and they just get wiped out first round playoffs. Like they're so
Well,
psychologically
the
jacked.
interesting is if Green Bay decides, well, we're going to rest Aaron Rodgers because of his toe. And remember what I said, it only helps to rest the guy on an injury if that rest is really going to help heal and bring him along quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'd say just get out there and continue to deal with your pain. Like, because it ain't going away. You're going to have to play with it in the playoffs, so you might as well get used to it now. And so, like, if Detroit goes out there and shellacks Green Bay and, like, it kind of kills their momentum of what they've been doing for the last month and a half, then, yeah, I would agree with you. Then that means, then you could reassess things. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, even if Green Bay does play a lot of Bryce Love, like, I think, Green Bay is Green Bay. They're gonna be fine. And like, I still think they're going to end up beating Detroit, even though Green Bay's got nothing to play for.
Yeah, I mean, see, I don't know. I guess I have a different mentality. Like, to me, there's always something to play for. I'm a prideful person like that. I'm one of those people. It's like, I'm going to go out and break my leg to score that extra touchdown. Oh, now I can't win a Super Bowl, but hey, I broke my leg. Wait, I'm thinking of Carson Wentz. But my thing is that I could, I don't think anybody's going to stop Green Bay. I do think Kansas City could end up falling to like a Tennessee or something in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't think Kansas City's unbeatable. I think no one in the NFC, other than maybe the Cardinals or Rams, will have to judge and see how potent they are. Right, but if I had to take a guess right now, the Green Bay is going to run you over. Green Bay is headed on a beeline to the Super Bowl. It's the AFC that I'm not really sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like the AFC is wide open. I felt like a month ago I could have said that, man, I feel like there are 5 teams that could come out of the NFC. Now, I really just think it's Green Bay and everybody else.
Yeah, I'm 80% Green Bay, 20% someone else.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to the AFC, I'm like 50% Kansas City, 50% anyone else.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kansas City, and like if you told me, okay, no, the Chiefs aren't going to win it, I'd be like, oh, okay, well then whoever else, yeah, wins right. If you told me, yeah, Green Bay's not going to win, I might try to relieve you of some of your money.
Okay.
And so yeah, I like in the NFC, like that's just the hierarchy is Green Bay and everybody else. But I do think that in the AFC, yes, I put Kansas City above, but then it's not that far down that I put Tennessee. And Buffalo's got their act together. I could like the Buffalo Bills statistically had the number 1 defense. I know at times I said I thought they looked soft, but that's a stingy defense. And Josh Allen, when he's playing smart and good football, man, there are not many quarterbacks I would take over Josh Allen.
Honestly, other than Brady and Rodgers, which are, they're just going to be the elite until they leave the league, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback I've seen in the NFL other than those two.
Well, Mahomes too. I would say Mahomes.
I don't buy into Mahomes as much as everybody else. Like, I think Mahomes has to be surrounded by really good talent like Kelsey and Hill. When those two aren't on top of their game, Mahomes doesn't seem near as effective. Whereas Rodgers seems effective by himself. Brady just masters the game. And then Burrow, when he's on his back, this dude's still tossing touchdowns somehow. I just think Burrow and maybe Mac Jones are really kind of the future of the league. Herbert, as long as he's on the Chargers, he's going to be that talent that we all pay attention to, but doesn't ever probably capitalize the Super Bowl, in my opinion. We know how the Chargers go. They always show promise and they never capitalize on it for some reason.
Sure.
Look at Rivers.
Rivers in the past, and maybe it still will be. But yeah,
I want to eat my words. Like I said, I always want the league as competitive as I can get it.
Yeah.
I want to eat my words. It's just right now, the Chargers show me that they got a great quarterback and they got a good pass rusher, and past that, I'm not seeing a superstar receiver popping out around Herbert to throw to. He's got a good name to throw to, but where's the superstar? Where's the guy that helps you get over the edge to get over that hump to get the Super Bowl? I'm not.
Yeah, where's that go-to guy? Like Tom Brady has Robert Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Who does Justin Herbert have that he looks at? Like you even just talking about Joe Burrow, I would say Joe Burrow is the benefactor of having a Jamar Chase, like in that rapport that they have going back to college. And
look, man, you got to be Aaron Rodgers talent in order to have no talent and still win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, I would
have a hell of a defense on the other side of the field during it.
Comparable.
So right now the Chargers aren't that.
No, and like as much as Aaron Rodgers has in the past made great receivers out of arguably nobodies, right now having Devontae Adams helps a ton. Like that guy's darn near uncoverable. But the rest of that, like Ramon St. Brown, like Aaron Lazard, like come on, like you're telling me that those guys are definitively better than like I don't know Michael Gallup of the Cowboys. Now, unfortunately, Cowboys won't have Michael Gallup as he tore his ACL, and and no joking when I say that's a shame. I hate to see anybody go down. And especially, like, dude, this is the playoffs. It's the best time of year to watch football. I want to see the best talent out there playing.
Yeah, I don't look, I'll take a Super Bowl no matter what.
Sure.
But let's say I'm not going to reach the Super Bowl and I beat a team on the way there, and let's say I lose the next game. I don't like knowing that I beat a team and I beat a weak version of that team. It just makes me go, that team's just going, you got lucky. And fans know, oh, you got lucky. Their main dude wasn't in there. No one, I hate hearing that. Now, if we won a Super Bowl that year and we beat other really good teams after that, I'm like, all right. But let's say I beat, the Eagles in the playoffs with all those injuries, and then I lose the next game. It's going to look like you got lucky with the Eagles. That's why you lost the next game. Too many injuries got you there.
Sure.
I want the team that's like, I played your best. I beat you. Didn't matter what you had.
Yeah, I agree with it. And I also agree with the part of the sentiment. Now, if we go on to win a championship, who the hell cares? I don't get you. You tell me I got lucky.
Once you got the trophy, no one will remember second place.
I can't hear you. I've got a Vince Lombardi trophy stuck in my ear.
There you go.
So, okay, I wanted to close out the show with talking about some potential bad news. And that would mean, after such a fun season, and it has been a blast this year. I've probably watched more football than I have in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome.
It's not over. And we got an extra week this year to watch football.
Beautiful. Another week of football. Who could complain about that? But there are going to be some guys who become unemployed after this Sunday.
It's safe to say none of the 10 in our hierarchy are going to be unemployed.
No, they should be okay.
Yeah. So we're talking, the other 22 teams.
So of those other 22 teams, now we know obviously the Raiders are going to be looking for a new coach. They've already fired their guy, John Gruden. Jaguars have already fired.
We know the Eagles fire good coaches, so your coach probably fired.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Nick Sirianni, too much success. It's getting to his head, so time to go, Bob. So what teams do you think or you know what? Aside from those two, like give me one that you feel like is a very for sure thing, and then let's go a little off the wall. Like, a guy who maybe people aren't paying attention to that could be they could get next.
Hold on. I actually I think I wrote down a few coaches. Hold on.
Okay.
Where did I put? I keep my little Excel sheet. I try to keep like up with current events, and I keep my list to remind me what I was thinking when I wrote it down. Okay, we already know about Gruden. We already know about the Jaguars, obviously. We had talked about Chicago Bears in the last segment. I think he's probably out. I think here's one off wall for me. Some people might say, well, no, probably not. But I'm like, no, I think it may be time. Mike Zimmer.
Oh, I 100%.
Vikings.
That was my off the wall one. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's time. I think the Vikings have hit their threshold of what they can do with him, and I think it may be time to revisit.
Yeah, I absolutely think Mike Zimmer is going to get fired, and I do think Matt Nagy in Chicago. I think Joe Judge.
What do you think about Judge on the Giants?
I think Joe Judge should go.
Okay.
I think they should. Now, supposedly there was a story coming out that they were planning to retain Joe Judge and bring back Daniel Jones. I personally love the idea. I think they should bring back Joe Judge every year, and I think Daniel Jones should stay in the league for 100 years. God bless him. I pray for
I
their
also
health.
think Fangio of Denver and David Cole of the Houston Texans has to go.
Yeah.
There's no spark with the Texans right now.
Yeah, I think
My
it's
other
time
off
to
the
I think
wall
you
would
hire the
be
GM too, I think.
yeah, I agree with that. My other off the wall would be Pete Carroll. I think his reign in
Yeah.
Seattle is probably up.
I think you could see a retirement from Pete Carroll. I think that could be a case where he opts to come out and say he retires as opposed to getting fired.
Yeah. And my last one, if I had to take a guess, would probably be the Panthers coach.
Yeah, Matt Rule. It's a
Yeah.
shame for him. I really liked
Well,
him.
he inherited us.
Yeah.
I mean, his team wasn't that good out of the gate, and he
No.
was trying to make the
When they were
best of
counting on
nothing.
Sam Darnold to resurrect the franchise, you knew they were in trouble.
He needs a real quarterback, but Deshaun Watson. And it's weird because I'm not a Deshaun Watson fan for how he's acted towards the Texans, but at the end of the day, he's a really good talent. Once he's put back on the field, I mean, he is better than Lamar Jackson. You just got to get him on the field and playing football again. So, yeah, that's my list.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I agree with.
You got any I did name?
I'll tell you what. Now, a guy who I really like him, but I just feel like maybe with the way that the team started the season. Now they went on they were on a real hot streak, and then cooled off the last week or so. The Miami Dolphins and Flores. Like I like him.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while. I think I agree with that. I just don't think they'll do it for a couple of reasons. One, I think they feel like, well, we haven't given him enough talent yet. He hasn't gotten enough talent to actually see how successful he is. I think that's
the
excuse.
They gave him a franchise. They gave him a guy who's supposed to be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
They haven't developed him.
I think the only way Flores stays or should stay, let me say should, the quarterback of my offense is if they go get Deshaun Watson, because then we'll see what he is with the star quarterback. Give him 1 year with a star quarterback, and if it doesn't work out, just move on from there. No harm done. It's the Miami expectations are low anyways. But should he get Deshaun Watson, all of a sudden Flores is coaching and looks like magic, then you have a quarterback and coach pair that's going to work.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I kind of like Flores, but I wonder if it could get a little like last year. Okay, last year they struggled, and then they came on at the end of the year, and again they had like that middle portion of the year. They looked like, wait, this could be a playoff team, and then they struggle at the end. They lose a game last year, the last game of the season, where they could have made the playoffs, and now this year, they kind of lay an egg. I think. I just think that Miami, there could be a sentiment down there to move on from Brian Flores. It's a question of where does the owner fall in that?
I think Miami,
That's an interesting take.
I think Miami is going to, not even close. I think Tomlin has never had a losing record, and Flores is already way behind that record. I think that in order to really see a good change in the Miami offense, you're going to have to go get a known commodity coach, someone who knows what they're doing already. They don't need to prove themselves. They've already proven themselves, and then give them like 4 years. Tua's magic. Put
I'll put
crystals up. Did you just say they got Tua? Man, Tua is not, to me, going to be an NFL quarterback at the end of the day. He might make a backup. He's not showing promise to be a starter. And the verdict's out. We've heard a lot of opinions on what's been seen. The players have spoken out that he doesn't look that good even during practice sometimes. Maybe more development. Maybe I'll see something different. But right now, as is, he's no Joe Burrow.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he's no Justin Herbert.
He just doesn't look like a guy who came from a top-tier program. He's no Mac Jones. Mac Jones came out of Alabama, and he's kicking butt. I
don't agree with that sentiment. I had to put that up there.
Yeah, I agree. Minshew is better than Tua. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I don't, but I like Minshew.
I'm sorry. I just think I don't know what people are seeing in Tua. I don't see it. I think in college he was great. I think he has not transferred to the NFL very well.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. He has not transferred very well at all.
Yeah. And I'll never doubt his skills as a college football player. I never doubted Vince Young's either. We saw how that went. Yeah.
Wow, that's because Jeff Fisher is a quarterback killer.
Rest in peace, Vince Young. All right.
All right, everybody, enjoy the last week of the season and come back here next week. We'll break down the wild card round for you. We'll break down the results of Bloody Monday and what to look for in the coaching searches. As sad as I am,
Black Monday now.
Oh, it's always
That's why there's no black coaches because
well,
they
no,
called it
Bloody
Black
Monday. It's Bloody Monday because that's when they get fired.
I thought they called it Black Monday.
Oh, I don't know. I've heard it called Bloody Monday.
Like, where's all the black coaches if it's Black Monday?
All right. It's about time for that conversation. We have it once a year. How come black coaches aren't getting hired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, my theory is really easy. You gotta be. I don't care what color you are. If you're orange, I'm gonna hire you. If I think I'm gonna win a Super Bowl with you, I could give a flip what you are. If you're gonna take me to a Super Bowl.
Less. Yeah.
So if you're out there, Doug Peterson, give me a call. Let's make a football team. Let's win the Pee Wee Championship. All right.
All right, everybody. Have a great week. Enjoy that final week of football, and see you later.